and I'm about to share this combined practice of just me doing all the things. And you can go to the show notes for the link to the video if you would like to watch and follow along with the movements that I'm doing. And I did not make up any of the individual pieces of this. I just mushed them together, and I'm going to tell you why. So the things I'm putting together are something called EFT tapping, which is weirdly very scientifically validated. It's been studied a lot. I'm not sure why, but it can help calm the nervous system down. So again, you don't have to do that part. You can just watch me do it or listen to me do it. But basically the idea is you're using 1 to 3 fingers to tap some acupressure points. They're often points where blood vessels are closer to the skin, and they can calm the nervous system. So there are some kind of standard ones. You can look up a picture online of, where these points are. I usually just do between the eyes, on the outside of the eye, like on the eye bone, under the eye bone, under the nose, and under the mouth, and then on the chest. Again, if you want to do those are just a subset of them, but they're ones that I like. If you find any spot on your body that feels comfortable to kind of tap or pulse, or some people actually hit pretty hard. I don't. I do kind of a medium tap. That's the first part. Along with that, usually when people do EFT tapping, they're usually speaking out loud. And there's 2 main versions. There's kind of affirmations, which are positive statements. I really like the version that's more like releasing what's on my mind. It's more of an anxiety release thing. And so for me, that's including some external processing. It's including some reassurance. And for me, at least, there's something about hearing my most ridiculous anxieties out loud sometimes that actually makes them silly. It just kind of, I don't know, it releases some powers from them. So that's another piece of what I'm putting in here. There's another practice called Orienting to Safety, which I first learned from Linda Tai, who I believe was sharing it from Resma Medicam. I have shared this on the podcast before, and it's one of those ones that sounds silly, but it really can make a difference when you do it. And basically, you are looking all around. You're looking at the exits, windows, underneath your chair, above you, all the way around behind you, just to tell your lizard brain that there are no predators here. Again, intellectually, we know this, but sometimes the basic fundamental part of our body that's looking for signs of safety needs to see that and go, okay, there's nothing here. And the other piece that I'm bringing into this is vestibular stimming. So there's all kinds of different stimming that you can do. Vestibular stims engage the inner ear. So swinging is a vestibular stim, for example. Orienting to safety, because you're moving your head up and down and around, brings in that inner ear. Obviously, if you have any conditions related to dizziness or fainting, please be careful. Please, all this stuff is optional, and you can experiment with whatever works for you and feels best for you. I also would recommend doing this sitting down if you experience any dizziness. It's also totally normal, I just want to say, to have different practices work better for different people and to land differently for you, depending on how you're feeling at different points and your overall stimulation level, stuff like that. So if you come and watch the video, I'm going to be exaggerating the orienting to safety movements with my head to engage the inner ear more, because I love vestibular stims. I would start smaller and then make it bigger only if it feels good for you. And then the last piece I'm adding is that I'm standing on, I'm going to try both for the video. So because I'm recording this first, I'm not sure which one's going to work better, but I have a little half Bosu ball, like a little ball to stand on that gives me some kind of bounciness reaction. I also have a little wobble board thing called a Jimba that I like, so that I use for standing at my desk. So both of those give me this little bit of balance and stability that first there's the bouncing motion, which I enjoy, and then it also increases the vestibular stim part. So I'm putting all this together. The phrase I'm going to be using as a base phrase in the tapping, this is bringing in the very last piece of all these things I'm mushing together. I'm going to start with, even though, blah, blah, blah. So naming the anxiety, and I'm going to say my own in the video. You can insert your own, or you can change it to any words you want. Even though, blah, 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 this body is safe right now. Using the phrase this body is a slight detachment from the body that can increase comfort, especially if you're just starting to work with noticing and feeling body sensations more. And then I'm going to say that for a bit, and I'm starting with that even though I have a good amount of comfort with my body, but sometimes just starting with that helps my body accept and believe what's happening because of that little bit of distance. So even for me, I still like saying that. Then when I start feeling safe enough or comfortable enough with that slight distance and feeling more safe, then I'm going to change to even though blah, 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 my body is safe right now. So that's stepping more toward embodiment. It's also totally optional. You can keep saying this body or whatever you want. You could use your name. You could say this person. I just like this body. I'm just picking this phrase because it works for me. I've done a lot of embodied and somatic healing work personally, and I have a very high level of safety around just the idea of experiencing a variety of physical sensations, even if I don't enjoy them. So again, as you're maybe thinking about doing this, and you can also just watch the video first or just listen to me first and not do anything. You can just absorb it. And that's a thing I like to encourage people to do, to experience something a little bit more intellectually or from a distance first, understand it, and then try it. Because that's it's a little more of a layer to bring in more consent for yourself, I think. Because you get to know what it is and know what you're opting into before you start. So anyway, just a thought, you're welcome to do that. And again, all of this is optional. You can pick any or all of these. You can just bounce or just do a vestibular stim if you just want to do that, etc. All the things I listed, I'm just going to say them again quickly. There's the EFT tapping, the physical tapping part. There's the speaking out loud part and releasing, in this case, maybe some anxieties. There's orienting to safety. There's the slightly exaggerated version of orienting to safety that I'm using to increase the vestibular stimulation. I'm going to be standing on a slightly unstable surface to increase that vestibular stimulation and also to kind of engage, I didn't mention this, to engage core muscles because that can help with this as well. And again, I recommend you do this sitting down if you have any dizziness first, if you haven't done this before. And then the last thing is this idea of saying this body is safe right now instead of my body is safe right now, just first. And just having that slight distance just can help with safety to have a little bit more distance. And that's a little bit of kind of that hypnosis speak coming in there. And if your body is safe right now, I invite you to join me in trying some of these things and seeing how they feel for your nervous system right now.